Nick Waugh loses his cool on a cross check to the face of Trent Frederick in overtime. VGK has to kill a 5 minute major, but runs out of steam again in the extra period as Leon Draisaitl calls game in the 5-4 thriller. And VGK fans are upset over a non call that could sideline Braden McNabb. So much to unpack. How will VGK come back from a 2-0 deficit as the series shifts now to Edmonton? Our reacts next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. I am a longtime sportscaster, marketing consultant, and the host of Believe in Vegas, the new podcast. Chris is the owner of Silver State Cards and Sports, and he is also the collectibles editor for the Hockey News. And we are the only daily Golden Knights podcast. Coming up ahead on today's spicy show, as Chris put it last night on the X, Game 3 preview. Can VGK bounce back? And WTF, what the Friday? We are brought to you today by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com, America's #1 sports book. So, Chris, here we go. Not only did Nick Waugh hurt VGK's depth by committing this stupid penalty, but the Golden Knights, and especially Jack Eichel, had to kill off a 5-minute major. Already a lot of minutes piling up for the top line and for Jack. And now they have to try to stop Edmonton, and 8 or 9 stops, whatever it was, for Aiden Hill. Alex Pietrangelo gives the puck away with seconds left on the Oilers' power play first, and Zach Hyman almost buries it, almost ended it on a shot that hits the crossbar. And then the 2-on-1 at the end. Connor McDavid with the blow-by of a gassed Eichel. I felt so bad for Eichel because that was a little shake and bake crossover move. And then, of course, we saw McDavid. He passes the puck to Draisaitl, who buries the puck. And the big story there at the end, the aftermath, the refs missing a late penalty on Victor Arvidsson, a trip. Braden McNabb, the can opener, as it's right there on the screen too, as we heard Bruce Cassidy refer to it. Braden McNabb looked like he might have jammed his shoulder into the boards, and Cassidy says that it sucks to lose a player like that because he jammed his shoulder into the boards. Cassidy was really fired up. He said Gord, the ref, was on it, and he blew the call. So 2 big plays, perhaps deciding game number 2. And VGK now in a 0-2 hole.
And playoff hockey is fun, not the outcome, obviously, but the drama, the excitement, your heart racing as you're watching every shot. The game had a little bit of everything. I mean, had a little bit of everything. Golden Knights find themselves getting another major penalty in an incredibly scary moments of the series. Like you said, they killed it, but they certainly got gassed. And starting, I guess, going backwards here, I'm sure we're going to debate the penalty in a little bit here and everything that happened, but starting from the overtime goal, I don't know what could have been done differently. Usually you watch every goal and you can point to something before the puck gets to the goalie, whether it was a good goal let in or not a good goal. And I watched, and yes, Nick Hague pinches on Corey Perry, but Eichel is back there in the coverage. Eichel is spying McDavid that entire play. And McDavid goes nearly to his own goaltender to start building up speed. Maybe Eichel could have read the play a bit better and got his feet moving a little bit quicker.
He had nothing left. He didn't have to.
No, he had nothing left from killing the penalty, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're going to say that Nicholas Hague should have maybe not pinched. I don't think that matters with all the speed that McDavid has. So I think the game-winning goal, just full credit to the Oilers, full credit to Draisaitl, McDavid, Corey Perry, and then whoever sent the puck up the boards on the breakout and everything. So tip your cap to the Oilers for that goal. And then of course the penalty. I mean, yeah, it's a trip all day. It's not a major or anything like that, but it's a trip all day. unfortunate circumstance, and the Golden Knights found themselves on the wrong side of the officiating. Did it cost them the game? We don't know what would have happened if they don't call that, but what likely happens is the next goal, if it happens, it's going to be in a 5-on-5 circumstance where the Golden Knights aren't nearly as gassed as they were.
Yeah. And, Nick Waugh not only hurts again the depth and the scoring, but he is a regular on the PK, on the penalty
They
kill.
got it done. Credit that PK for getting it done there, huh?
Except the end of it, right? Where there was almost the goal on the Petro turnover,
He had like
which
2 of those last night.
that could have been disastrous. It's that love-hate relationship with Petro for us. Even Wheezy got into the act last night. Lil Wayne, Knights just got robbed, he tweets out there. And Mark Stone said that it was a dirty play. And I had to counter with, okay, the Wah play wasn't dirty. I mean, come on, guys, like a little bit of balance here. You do not want to lose a player the caliber of Braden McNabb. You do not. But that Wah play, what in the world could he have been thinking? He just absolutely melts down and loses his cool, and to the detriment of his team. And no one's really talking as much about that as they are about the end of the game, in which we saw the can opener play by Arvidsson.
Of course, I mean, something happened to take the attention off of the Nick Waugh circumstance, but looking at that Nick Waugh play, I mean, there's nothing to excuse. Like, okay, let's go back to the Cody Eakin, not a major circumstance. Eakin is looking to create some separation, winds up dumping Pavelski, and what happens after that. I still say to this day it was still a reckless play by Eakin in the circumstance, but whatever, that's all done and over with. Nicholas Waugh shifting gears now, like someone's like, oh, maybe he was trying to deflect the puck. No one's deflecting the puck.
There is no puck anywhere in sight. The puck is way down on the ice. There's
ESPN made a comment that maybe he's trying to, because people, they all the time in like that upper chest and stuff, they create some separation and stuff like that. It's one of those cross checks that will never get called in the game on both sides. So someone on ESPN made a comment, oh, maybe he's trying to create some separation. I think that's digging a little bit. I think Nick Waugh lost his cool in the moment and just made a terrible decision, unfortunately. And I think it's important to acknowledge that no one in the building feels worse about it than Nick Waugh. Nick Waugh has been a very good long-time bottom six staple of the VGK. It's unfortunate, that decision that he made. And while it didn't directly cost the Golden Knights the game, it cost the Golden Knights the game because, again, Eichel was he was done. He was out of it. He had nothing left at that point, as did many of the Golden Knights. And again, credit them for getting through that kill. Credit them for, I mean, there was some jailbreaks. There was some moments in there, but they got through it. They almost created a scoring chance a couple times during it as well. And, it's, that's hockey, Tony. There you go. That's hockey. I think we heard it at least once in the presser last night. But I guess if there's one time we can throw that out there, this might be it.
Okay, let's talk about the IKEA line hat trick. So Victor Olofsson with a couple of goals, and Vegas Bjorn gets a goal as well. So the IKEA line hat trick last night. Olofsson first on the power play with the tic-tac-toe play. Eichel to Stone to Olaf. And then second, the head nod and the patience by Eichel to set up Olofsson cross ice and right across the crease. And a good game last night for Victor Olofsson. And in the post game, though, did you hear Cassidy saying there was another time I told him to shoot the puck? He was hanging on to the puck too long. But in any event, I thought he stepped up and had a fine game last night, Olofsson.
Olofsson is going to be a power play specialist. He's a 5-on-5 liability in the same breath also. This is why Olofsson, with his scoring history, was stuck taking on a bridge deal to come to the Vegas Golden Knights. He wasn't signed. There weren't people lining up to sign Olofsson free agency. The second free agency dropped on July the 1st or whatever date it was. And he can score. He can do very good things on the power play, but there's also a lot of gaps in his 5-on-5 game. And you saw that it was pretty apparent last night. Looked like he was better in the overtime period, to be fair, but otherwise, and even in the third period, it got a little bit better, but there was also a few shifts when you're watching him out there. He's just chasing. So Definitely got to develop his defensive game a little bit more if he's going to try and get one of those contracts. He's in his upper 20s right now, so this is when someone like him needs to get paid. But you know what? He's needed to score goals, and he got a couple big goals last night for the Vegas Golden Knights, and power play was great. Golden Knights, I don't think they gave up a power play goal last night. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody.
No, they didn't. They
So
did not.
2 games in a row, they've won the special teams battle and find themselves trailing 2-0.
Was it something like close to 10 minutes that they had to kill off? Something like that, right?
Yeah, no.
Number of
At some point, we
penalties.
got to talk about Aiden Hill in this first segment.
Well, we
I know
are, of
we're gonna go
course.
on, okay.
I wanted to preface that by giving credit to the AHL goalie. That just, again, people are like, why are you protecting Calvin Pickard? Well, he's playing well, and then of course he gets dragged. They're dragging him here in VGKville. I don't think Cassidy and I don't think the Golden Knights have a ton of respect for him anyway. I'm just going to say it right there. But he stops Pickard last night, 28 of 32 shots, gave up those 2 power play goals, a deflection by Carlson, and the Pietrangelo equalizer on that play. Right before that play, though, this is something important that could have an effect on Game 3. Right before the Petro goal, Tomas Hertl rolls over the left leg of Pickard. Pickard doesn't have the experience to just like stay down, right? They're talking about that on the ESPN coverage.
He had 2 chances.
No, he doesn't stay down. He gets up hobbling on the Pietrangelo goal. And then in OT, did you notice it still had a lot of effect there? He's still hobbling around. So is Pickard going to be hurt? A lot of questions about injuries going into this game. And then, of course, Aiden Hill faces 37 shots. 37 shots. That's mostly on your defense, folks. And he gives up 5 goals and could have been worse because what were there? 4 or 5 posts and a couple of crossbars, 2 or 3 crossbars in that game last night. So let's talk about goaltending right there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Pickard wins the battle of the goaltenders as far as coming up.
Oh,
with
you
the
can't
saves.
say that. You can't say that. Go ahead.
Trust me, a lot of people are saying it. Sinbin put it out there, so if no one's going to fight back on Ken, they're not going to bother me on that too.
Jeez, oh, that's credible.
But listen,
the AHL goalie though is just burning me, man. Leave that guy alone. Let him play.
Listen, he's an AHL goalie playing very well, and he's getting hot at the right time. And he won the duel of the goalies. Now,
and the defense is better in front of him. Let's face it. The defense has been better than VGK's. The best in the Pacific.
You done? Okay. Aiden Hill he was rough in 2 of the goals that were given up right there. And it was unfortunate to see. There's a lot of people saying if Aiden Hill has a mid-game in regulation that we're not even talking about this as far as overtime and the Arvidsson situation, Nicholas Waugh and Braden McNabb's injury. And you know what? They might be right. They definitely might be right. I put a tweet out there somewhere in the second period saying, or maybe it was early in the third, but I said, all right, this is what I say. This is what we got for, the next 6 years or whatever it was. Asking for a realm, like we're concerned right now about what Aiden Hill has brought to the table. Well, we saw playoff Aiden Hill in that third period and certainly in the overtime.
Yeah.
And credit Aiden Hill for, I think it was an impeccable performance down the stretch when it mattered. When the chips were down, when it mattered, I give Aiden Hill full credit. But that's not going to dismiss at least the Darnell Nurse goal I didn't like. And the Podkolzin goal, no one liked either of those goals. So, Aiden Hill owes this team a game right now, Tony. That's what I'm trying to get at. Aiden Hill owes this team a game, I think.
Okay, coming up next, can VGK come back from the 2-game deficit? We'll talk about that as we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Did you know that your Fire TV is also an Xbox? That's right. Of course, you can turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console is required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe or sign in to the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you are ready to go to work. You're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 2025 to Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Avowed. That's right. As easily as you stream your favorite shows, it's gaming made simple, and it is all on your Fire TV. Endless entertainment with 4K streaming. You can watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and much, much more. And you can play high quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. And if you already have a console, a Fire TV Stick 4K device is more than affordable, easier to travel with, allowing you to take you and your kids' games wherever you can plug in. Of course, I have little to no gaming experience, so I will definitely go for all those movies. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV locked on, and you can get started today. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller required. And it's available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K, second generation, Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first and second gen, and Fire TV Cube, third generation. Again, Fire TV is also an Xbox. Learn more at amazon.com/Fire TV locked on. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. That's right. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on all the other sites. Indeed's sponsored jobs puts your post at the top of the page, and it helps you to reach a lot of the right candidates very quickly. Of course, I've utilized Indeed in the past, both posting jobs and looking for work on there. And I've been in that spot when you need the right hire, like yesterday, and the pressure is on each and every day without the right person. And that is a huge setback. And of course, that's exactly when Indeed's sponsored jobs come in handy. They make sure that your post is seen by the right candidates right now. And now you can speed up the hiring process with a $75 sponsored job credit. Just go to Indeed.com/locked on right now, Indeed.com/locked on, and support our show, Locked On Golden Knights, by saying that you heard about Indeed on our podcast. Terms and conditions apply. If you are hiring, Indeed is all you need. Welcome back on this WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas. Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. Things got real spicy on my ex last night. Not with my ex, but on my ex. It was these fans are so fired up. And your
They have a right
friend,
to be, Tony. They have a right to be. It's
yeah,
an
they
emotional
do. And I
moments.
wasn't poking. I said poke the bear, and BEER, poke the beer. That
Gimme.
was not right. Yeah, I made a mistake there. I was poking the beer. And your friend, Lebowski, Bukowski, whatever, she
Oh,
even
she
said
says,
that I should be tossed from the show. I mean, people were just so fired up. So VGK could not, I think when you talk about can they bounce back, the pressure that VGK applied in the neutral zone was strong at the beginning of that game. And the Oilers couldn't maneuver and they couldn't get into the zone there in the first period. And in fact, the Golden Knights even frustrated Connor McDavid, and then they get away from that. So, was that a fatigue factor? What was that? Because that's what they need to do to get back into this series. And they're going to have to start minute by minute. And with game number 3, they really have to start to steal a lot of possessions from the Oilers.
somewhere in the second period when the Golden Knights trailed 2-1, I said, do the Golden Knights have 3 goals in them? And they ultimately did, which is good, because at some point in this game, you're going to hear from McDavid and Draisaitl. And unfortunately, it happened in the worst possible of moments when we heard from McDavid and Draisaitl. I guess just kind of what you said, and throw some things in a blender right now. Golden Knights, I mean, Aiden Hill was not sharp for, call it 2 periods of the loss. Okay, fine. You had the major penalty. You had a lot of things that did not go the Golden Knights' way. but the Golden Knights were still one shot away from winning this game. And
Yeah.
credit Pickard in the overtime for just when that puck took that weird, when he didn't trap the puck the right way when it came to him. It was it Barbashev and Olofsson that had chances. Olofsson had the second chance, whatever it was. There were just two dynamite chances. Eichel was really close on one as well. So if there's something that Golden Knight fans need to take a little bit of comfort in, there's two things right now. Number one, no series has ever been decided after 2 games, when it's a 7-game series.
Yeah,
You gotta
forget
play
the first game doesn't count. First game doesn't count.
Everything, yeah, no, everything counts. Everything counts.
Okay.
But no series has ever been decided after 2 games in a 7-game series. Is why you play the games. Number one, and number two, as bad as the Golden Knights were, and they weren't that bad, but as bad as they were, they came one shot away from winning the game. So, of course, game 3 is a must-win, or this thing is toast. Saturday, May the 10th, most important date of the season now, as is probably going to be Monday the 12th too, and so on and so forth, until this thing hopefully gets back to level ground, and everyone can maybe take a deep breath. But it's rough, it's scary. The sports books got the Golden Knights as a plus 390 dog to advance right now. So it's gloomy days, yes, but you know what? Golden Knights, they've been down 0-2 and they've won a series before. At least once. Colorado Avalanche, yeah, they had the home game situation. It was a little bit different, but you know what? The Dallas Stars lost the first 2 games on the road last year to come back to defeat the Golden Knights in 7 games. So you know what? It's happened before, and there's still hopefully a lot of series left. So just take a deep breath, everybody. Take a deep breath.
The depth scoring for the Oil. Oh boy, I like to rub this in. Podkolzin, Kane. I told you that Waldman would be active. Don't get mad at me.
No, I'm not mad. You're not mad. Just it happened.
I told you he'd be shooting.
It happened.
And he scores his first playoff goal ever. And then we also talked about that the play would pick up with the physicality. Holy smokes, did it ever? And so I just want to see now the effects of that physicality going into game 3, because we did see Perry come off the ice, Saad for VGK. What happens with McNabb? It's going to be an interesting scenario here as far as, again, now fatigue is a factor, and we're only in game 3 because of the physicality and all the rough stuff, and the Golden Knights having to kill off like a lot of penalty minutes. They need to preserve somehow Jack Eichel's minutes. They really do, and I don't know how. I don't know what the answer is.
Nicholas Watt not being in the box for 5 minutes would have certainly helped.
Well, let's start there. Let's start there.
No, I mean, Tony, and this is something that we've been on both sides about here. It's the playoffs. You're going to see the star players getting more of those minutes. Now, I believe this is well over Eichel's average minutes from the 2022-23 run.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers directly.
He does not have the support. Let's face it. He does not. Hear me out. He does not have the supporting cast that he had 2 years ago. Enough said. Enough said. Go ahead.
So someone on Twitter pointed this out. I'll save a good chunk of this for What the Friday, but they also made a comment.
You almost went there. Go ahead.
No, we're good. Okay. Someone made a comment that Eichel needs more support. Well, Eichel has more 20-goal scorers on this team than he did on the 22-23 Stanley Cup team. Yeah, you don't have that 40-goal scorer in March or so. And yes, Dorofeev is out. And that situation I don't see getting better anytime soon from reading between the tea leaves. Can you read between the tea leaves? So I don't think that's going to wind up getting any better right now, unfortunately. So Eichel has the support, I think. I mean, Olofsson had 2 goals. I mean, let's start there. Olofsson had 2 goals. Pietrangelo chipped 1 in. So Carlson got a goal. There you go.
He had the IKEA line.
People even just text me now whenever he scores. They don't even like throw shady. They just text me and say, Tony's gonna be pissed. Carlson got a goal.
I know, and of course, yes, I was. And VGK does need to finish off plays. Barbashev in the second. You talked about other opportunities. Cassidy did want pucks on the net, and there were rebound chances. And this needs to continue for the Golden Knights to even have a chance to get back into this series. And another penalty that was missed. And it's not the penalties that are that bother fans, I guess. It's the inconsistency of calling penalties, right? Like in the playoffs, especially, Like, what do you have to do to have a penalty called? Eichel got popped in the face on a high stick. Eichel missed the net
Oh yeah.
at the end of regulation, and he was just so pissed at himself. And again, man, I think the world of Jack Eichel, but I really do feel that he is just being overtaxed right now, and they have to find a way to just manage his minutes or do whatever they can. They need somebody else there. They could have used another center at the trade deadline, maybe. I don't know. Go ahead.
Another What the Friday coming, but I don't know. I mean, what else? I, he has support. He had a great game. He was very, very solid throughout the game. And I don't know. I mean, sure, you always want more support and stuff like that. You want more players that can chip in when it matters the most. But again, they were one shot away from winning this game. They were one shot away from winning this game. Or maybe if we want to put this on Aiden Hill, they were one save away from winning this game. And I think Aiden Hill is getting buried right now because of the missed call, the Arvidsson situation, because of Nicholas Waugh, because of his performance in the fourth period, so to speak. And there were some turnovers that even led to the other goals. So all this has to be cleaned up. All this has to be cleaned up. And somehow the Golden Knights have to compartmentalize. They have to throw all this away and just move on to the next game. Just move on to the next game. And they got to win a game. They're not going to get down on themselves. I think the Golden Knights are the ones who are going to flush out the penalty, and the fans need to also. I'm not saying they shouldn't be pissed off and everything about that, but if the players have gotten past this and focused on the next game, that's what the fans need to do too. And maybe player safety looks at this trip. I don't know. I can't imagine that's going to happen because it wasn't. It was a dirty situation with an unfortunate ending, but I don't think there's any intent there. I don't think it's a check from behind or anything like that. Tripping only carries a 2-minute minor. So there's nothing necessarily for player safety to look at, and the Golden Knights got to dig deep and find a way. Plain and simple, dig deep, find a way.
Does player safety take a look at the Waugh penalty?
Oh God! Nicholas Waugh, he's getting no less than one game.
You think so?
I think this situation is worse than the Jamie Benn cross-check on Mark Stone. I think this is worse now.
But hang on, man. But Waugh was going for the puck. It was in the air.
What Waugh has in his advantage, and I'm pretty sure, I'm confident on this, I don't think Nicholas Waugh has a suspension history.
Yeah, he's pretty clean. That was just out of character. Coming up next, we continue here with What the Friday. Holy smokes. Of course, you know what that's going to center around. Comes your way next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night it delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and my New York Knickerbockers. And can't miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get into the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props. Could you imagine the money you could have made with the Knicks down 20 in back-to-back games and they come back? And my money line play was where that was at. Of course, they have performance trends and same game parlays, and fans have more ways than ever to play smart and to win big. And it is really fun. And what would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds? You could do that. And of course, you can definitely check out the same game parlay. And of course, there is $200 in bonus bets up for grabs if your first $5 bet wins. That's right. So check out FanDuel for the current playoff odds on the NBA and the NHL and all the player props to include. Again, check it out. New to FanDuel, it's the perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. Back on the WTF edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Vegas, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick. Holy smokes, man. Just the bitterness of the VGK fans. Wow. And again,
You're allowed to be bitter, Tony. It's an emotional.
I stirred the pot. I did because, again, pre-series, they have all these things on Twitter about all the excuses that other fan bases are going to use if they lose a game to VGK. And lo and behold, it's the same thing, fans. So be a good fan, win or lose. Okay.
The VGK fans are great fans, win or lose, Tony. Come on, they're great fans.
They were so fired up and so spicy. They want me kicked off the airwaves. Okay, so I'll start off here on WTF. The trolling by the Golden Knights social media team continues. Social media team versus Dasco. I put out a tweet Thursday around 1:45 p.m. that read, 85-degree day in Vegas, perfect playoff hockey weather. 2 hours later, at Golden Knights tweets out, playoff hockey weather, shade emoji, hashtag for the realm, with 2 photos, one of T-Mobile Arena, the second of the temperature in Vegas, 87 degrees. Quit it. And then, of course, I told you they were trolling me with all of those Vegas Bjorn videos that they post every day. The 9-goal regular season guy who had his eyes closed when he had a tip in last night. Again, please quit posting all these Carlston videos at practice every day. Vegas Bjorn, a 9-goal third-line center, WTF. WTF, a shout-out for bad ice in Game 1. Bad excuse, Bruce. And WTF, your guy, well, the Pope's from Chicago, so I'm sure you're liking that today. And then, of course, another Chicago tie-in. How do we go from the Pope to Joel Quenneville? Oh, never mind. He handled that presser well, but who knows? Apparently, I don't know what's going to happen. But he's in the Pacific Division, which makes it more entertaining for us, WTF.
You mentioned the Pope. A good friend of mine was at the game last night, and I look up and they showed something on. I wasn't at the game, but they showed someone dressed as the Pope on the Jumbotron.
Is that your friend?
That was he was actually my original season ticket partner.
That's great.
So that shout out to David Wrench for owning the night last night. He also dressed as, never mind, stuff with the Sharks, back to not a major. All right, so number one, VGK fan base, it's okay to be pissed off. It's okay. It's okay. I don't blame you guys. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be bitter.
Don't be pissed at me
for all of this. It's okay. All right. Okay. I'll start there, Tony. I'll start there. Edmonton Oilers fans, we need to talk for a second here. Everyone took a 4-second clip of me saying that McDavid needs to be hit a couple times. And they took that as I said,
why would you say that? Why you did say that?
They took that as injure McDavid, and I want someone to run Pickard. Well, I guess that kind of happened, but it was in the it was
on it.
The entire 60-second clip was you need to finish a couple checks on McDavid. A couple big hits can change a series. I also stated right after that, I don't want anyone to hit him illegally. I don't want to see him get injured, but he needs to be uncomfortable out there. You need to remove that calming influence this team has. So Oiler fans, I know you guys are smarter than that because you like to remind us about all the Stanley Cups you have and all the rich history up in Edmonton and everything, but give some respect to the VGK fan base. I know who the Oilers are. I know what their Stanley Cups are. I get all this, but it's also been since 1990 since your godforsaken franchise has won a Stanley Cup. And the Golden Knights fan base is pretty good. The Golden Knights front office is pretty good. The Golden Knights got a pretty good hockey team here in Southern Nevada.
What about their social media? You want to talk about them?
They've done a heck of a lot more recently than the Oilers have. So give some respect to the Golden Knights fan base. Someone said, how many frozen lakes are there in outdoor rinks in Vegas? I don't give a WTF how many of those are. It's irrelevant. This is a good city. It's a good fan base. It's a good hockey team that has an incredibly rich history despite being around for just 8 games.
The venom from VGK fans last night, please.
They're okay. They're okay. They can be mad. Someone is now suggesting that Joey Daccord would have been a better signing for the Vegas Golden Knights at $5 million versus Aiden Hills. How many playoff wins does Joey Daccord have? How's he done in the postseason? WTF?
Aiden Hills just 4-4 in these playoffs, though.
He's 4-4 and an 8-7. I get it. I understand. Okay,
he's not playing well, man. Don't try to convince me otherwise.
No, I'm not going to convince you otherwise.
The AHL WTF goalie, AHL goalie, and that's why I'm protecting the goaltender for Edmonton because they call him
great. Pickard's been great.
Pickard's been great. He's been fantastic, and they're calling him an AHL goalie on the air.
No, I don't like that. I don't
I don't
like
like
that. I'm
that
with
at
you on that.
all.
I'm with you on
They're
that.
great fans. Great fan. Oh, the state run radio.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
that's the media, not the fans, Tony.
Okay.
So really fast, one more here, going up and back with someone who calls. I don't. His name is Nick. His name is Nick. So we had a nice, an annoying up and back, but it was an up and back. And now the attention is on Kelly McCrimmon. All of a sudden, Kelly McCrimmon didn't do enough at the trade deadline.
That's exactly right. He's absolutely correct.
Okay, so number one, VGK has more 20 goal scorers this season in the Stanley Cup year. Sod and Smith are improvements, but the real improvements didn't come at this year's deadline. It came with the Hannafin and Hurdle acquisitions last year.
And
at the end of the day, with all
don't forget,
give me 10 seconds, I'm done. I'll get out of your way. At the end of the day, after losing Marchessault, after losing Stevenson, after Alec Martinez rides off to the sunset, Will Carrier, Mike Amadio, Logan Thompson, all of these things that happened, we're still talking about a division champion with the third best record in the NHL. What more can anybody want from Kelly McCrimmon? WTF.
Okay, we got to hurry up through these. At Yoda_Jenkins, WTF refs, please stop flipping a coin to decide whether or not to call a penalty. And WTF Wah. Donnie Martinez, WTF, just WTF. Alexander Wilkin the fourth at AJ Wilkin 42, Wah, comma, WTF. Joe 71610-867-5309. No, it's not it. WTF, NHL refs. You called a major in overtime. That was the right call. Then you clearly missed a tripping penalty on Edmonton with only two guys in the corner. The real Ron Weasley, the first whiz kid. WTF at the officiating in OT. Definitely a major for Wah there, but they missed at least three calls against the Oilers, biggest being the trip and the boarding McNabb. At Idaho Patriot 69, our friend Jeremy Pickard, a better goalie than Hill so far. WTF.
Yes, agree.
Our good friend, the Bandit, John Price, says WTF. Why do they have only two referees on the ice when either can make a call on a penalty? And a ton more. Oh, Gary Adrian, WTF. Shoot it sometimes, Jack. And then WTF, timely saves, not. Thanks, Aiden. Monica, WTF, with only one shot in a period. So, yes, VGK fans are fired up today. You do have a reason to be fired up. And, again, they should have made that call, but they didn't. Again, it's just the inconsistency of reffing here in the playoffs. Sometimes they'll call a ton of penalties. Other times they just lay off the whistle. So, game number 3, so important. We'll be back, hopefully, I guess, on probably Sunday.
Sunday morning.
Yeah. Sunday morning. Easy like Sunday morning.
Mother's Day. Sometime on Sunday, but it's
Mother's Day. Yeah. So, yes, of course, take care of the misses there. And we appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so, so much. And everyone's amped up heading into game number 3. On my bucket list, okay, don't get mad at me here, but on my bucket list, I want to be in that crowd with a national anthem singer in Edmonton where he just puts down the mic and everyone continues to sing "Go Canada."
It's a nice moment.
Tremendous moment. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco. Stay tuned. Back again on Sundays sometimes. And we'll see you again very soon here right on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.